सर्वोपनिषदो गावः दोग्धा गोपालनन्दनः पार्थो वत्सः सुधीर्भोक्ता दुग्धं गीतामृतं महत् गीता सुगीता कर्तव्या किमन्यैः शास्त्रसंग्रहैः या स्वयं पद्मनाभस्य मुखपद्मात् विनिसृता. These shlokas talk about the glory of Bhagavad Gita. Every teaching in Bhagavad Gita is so relevant to our life. Although it was taught by Krishna thousands of years ago, it means a lot to our life even today. We are going to discuss a very important question, a frequently asked question by one and all. The answer to that has been very clearly stated in Bhagavad Gita by Krishna. Who decides on my destiny? There are people who say that my horoscope and the 9 grahas decide my destiny. Is it true? Or is it time, Kala, that decides? Do my actions decide my destiny? Or is it Bhagavan, God, who decides my destiny? Or is it fate, which we commonly call as Vidhi, that decides my destiny? Or is destiny itself fate? There are so many causes which we commonly believe. But unfortunately, all these do not decide. Bhagavan Krishna clarifies these doubts. If time decides, then is that time specified? Time is first of all not a sentient matter. It has no knowledge. Something that has no knowledge cannot decide. If one decides, he must know what he is deciding, the pros and cons of them. But unfortunately, time, although it's very, very important, cannot think and decide. Kala Tattva, as said in the Vedanta, it envelops every matter. It behaves that Kala keeps on changing by itself and also instrumental in the change that it brings about in every matter. To clarify, every object around here is enveloped by Kala. Our body, these benches, this recorder, in everything you will find Kala. Time keeps on changing. When I started this discourse, it was 2. It is 2:05 now. So it has changed by 5 minutes. And we have all grown older by 5 minutes. Our skin cells, this garland, everything had gone older. So Kala, although is so much important in our life, that cannot decide my life. That can't decide where should I reach. Can my karma, my deeds, actions decide them? They can to an extent, but not completely. Will Bhagavan decide? He would. But if I accept that, then I should also credit all my failures to him. If he decides and I go wrong, it would mean that he has gone wrong. But Vedanta, or for that matter, anyone would not agree that Bhagavan would commit a mistake. If I delivered a long discourse, then I can't find fault with him. I can't blame him. So it may not be right to say that he decides all my actions or my destiny. When I say so, it gives rise to another problem. If he does not decide, then am I controlled by him? We say that he is the controller. Every action is controlled by him. But it is not true now. If he is the absolute controller, then he has to decide on all my actions. If he is not the decider, then he is not the controller. Whichever way, we invite trouble. So neither Bhagavan, nor Kala, nor my actions as a standalone, nor my horoscope or Navagraha, nor my faith, nothing decides. Then who decides my action? And who is behind my destiny? There are some slokas which together clarify this doubt. I'll first introduce you to those slokas and then get on to the details of them. Yamunacharya was a preceptor of Swamy Ramanuja. Ramanuja was a philosopher who was born about 1000 years ago. He lived between 1017 and 1137. He was born in a village quite close to Chennai in Tamil Nadu, known as Sriperumbudur. He was a great philosopher. Not only a philosopher, but one who wanted to propagate equanimity amongst all. He is the one who accepted that anyone is eligible to reach moksha, not by your birth or your richness or your studies. If you are one who wishes to reach there, Bhagavan grants you that. It all depends on your desire to reach him. Before the period of Ramanuja, your qualification, your birth, your conduct, they all decided whether you are eligible to reach salvation or not. But Ramanuja brought about a great revolution. He said, let these be not the criteria. If you are desirous of reaching him, you can. It's not intelligence that matters, but it is the desire, the wish that matters. If you wish, we are all equal. If you do not, then we get discriminated. So we don't term Ramanuja as a philosopher alone. We call him as a revolutionist. One who treated everyone equally. He is the propounder of Vishishtadvaita philosophy. This is not something new that he invented, but he brought it to light which was hidden in the Vedanta. What did he say about this? His Acharya was Yamunacharya, who was in fact the guiding light behind Ramanuja. Yamunacharya has authored a collection of poems known as Gitartha Sangraha that talks about the gist of every chapter in Bhagavad Gita. I would quote one verse from Gitartha Sangraha. Asatya Lokarakshayai Guneshwaropya Kartrutam Sarveshwareva Nyasyokta Tritiye Karmakaryata. Krishna in the 3rd chapter talks about Karma Yoga. Chapters 2 to 6. All the 6 chapters talk about Karma Yoga. Especially in the 2nd chapter and 3rd chapter, he goes into the details of Karma Yoga. One has to do his duty. Just not do your duty, but without requesting any fruits, any mean fruits to those duties. I do something. If I request or expect anything in return, then I am termed commercial. If I do it without expecting anything in return, then I am service-minded. I am selfless. Any day, if you are selfless, you are respected better. When we do our duty, we are blessed by Krishna. But not that we request him for many things, we don't beg with him. We beg for his service. He gives us that and grants us all other material wealth too. But if you request for material wealth, he will grant that and stop with that. He does not give us devotion. So devotion gives us bhakti as well as other material benefits. Krishna says, asaktya lokarakshayai guneshwaropya kartritam. Oh Arjuna, now identify who drives your actions. Your guna. You are full of the triad, sattva-guna, rajoguna and tamoguna. You are driven by these three gunas. One is full of all these three gunas. At this moment, if you are 50, 60 in this hall, probably 10 to 15 of us might have sattva-guna higher than the other two. Another 10 or 15 might have rajoguna higher than the other two. And last, the third category would have tamoguna higher than the other two. So it fluctuates. It's not stable. Within an individual, even within a day, sattva, rajo and tamoguna may fluctuate. They are not a constant. If your sattva guna is on the rise, then your thoughts are clear. You are not confused. You don't get angry. You don't feel hungry. If your rajoguna is higher, then you want to act, not stop at all. Keep on and on pushing. You are too desirous of reaching many heights. If your tamoguna is higher than the other two, you are confused, you are lazy, you feel sleepy. So you can easily identify the effects of sattva, rajas and tamas. You can't touch or feel them, but you can identify these three gunas through their effects. Without a cause, effect cannot exist. So if we know, I now think that I am so clear in my thoughts, and of course I am. If I read a book, things are very clear to me. I am not confused. Then I can presume comfortably that now my sattva gunam is on the rise. But if I feel I need to own this building, why does this belong to someone else? Can I buy this city? If it's so, then it is rajoguna. Lastly, I am neither desirous nor clear, but I would like to sleep at 2:15 in the afternoon, being a holiday. Then it is tamoguna. Sattvam, rajas, tamaiti gunaha, prakriti sambhavaha. We did not create them. They are very much embedded in our body. This body, the material cause for this body is Moola Prakriti. Moola Prakriti is full of these triads. So, if something is found in the material cause, will the same not be found in the product? This body is the product of that Prakriti. The Moola Prakriti material, raw material, is full of Sattvam, Rajas and Tamas. So the product must necessarily have it. This product body is full of Sattvam, Rajas and Tamas that pulls and pushes us. My actions are driven by these three gunas. Prakrite kinamanani, gunaih karmani sarvashaha, ahankara vimudhatma, kartaham iti manyate. Krishna says, unfortunately Arjuna, you have misunderstood that you are the doer. You don't do at all. You do pushed by these threads. Kartaham iti manyate. You wrongly think that you are the doer. But in effect, in reality, but for this body, this Atma would never do anything. It won't act. It will only keep experiencing divine pleasure and bliss. But we, since we are full of Sattvam, Rajas and Tamas, we are pushed by them. Prakrite kriyamanani. Prakriti does. Gunaih karmani sarvashaha. Ahankara vimudhatma. Then why do I misunderstand that I am the doer? Because I have already misunderstood that this Prakriti body and me, the soul, are one and the same. I have wrongly understood that Atma and Sharira are one and the same. So when the Sharira performs, I think that the Atma is acting. In reality, it is not so. But for the Shariram, Atma would never act. So first of all, let us understand that Atma is not the doer per se. But for body, Atma would remain idle. But we have got this. Why did we get this body? Again, we were pushed as a result of our past actions, past deeds, which we call it as karma. We have taken this birth. And that karma gave us this body. When we got this body, it was full of sattvam, rajas and tamas. So we are being pushed. Sattvam, rajas, tamiti gunaha, prakriti sambhavaha. So Arjuna identified. You are all driven by something else. If I do something wrong, the policeman catch me. Can I plead with him that, I don't know, somebody influenced me to do that? I am not responsible. He influenced me. I can plead ignorance. I can plead to an extent, although you may not be scot-free. You may still plead ignorance that he influenced me. He was in a situation so that he can influence me. He had that position to influence me. I could not refute his influence, so I had to follow. Similarly, this body is so powerful. It can influence our decisions. Sattvam, Rajas and Tamas are very powerful. They can influence. Can I plead ignorance? Or can I say that since these three influenced me, I had to act. Don't punish me for my actions. I can. I can do it once. But I can't repeat it forever. If once I realize that these Prakriti, these three gunas influence my actions, so let me put a full stop to them. Let me stop. I can go and surrender to God. I can plead from Him for all my earlier misactions, misdeeds. He redeems me of all those. But after that, I should pass the onus, the responsibility of protecting me, the responsibility of all my actions to Him. If I do, then these three qualities do not influence me. If I do not, I keep repeating my mistakes, then these three would of course influence me. Asaktya lokarakshayai. So the first link is like this. I do something influenced by my three gunas. Asaktya lokarakshayai guneshvaropya kartritam. So Jivatma's kartrita, Jivatma's doership is dependent on the three qualities. Asaktya lokarakshaye guneshvaropya kartritam. But you can't stop there. Again, these three gunas do not have knowledge. They are not a jnani. They can't decide. They are not a human being. Who will decide them? These three gunas are controlled by Paramatma, Bhagavan, who can decide. So it is finally, eventually, it all leads to Paramatma. I act. But for this body I would not act. I act because I am pushed and guided by my three gunas. Now these three cannot be held absolutely responsible because they are again inanimate. They can't decide. They don't have knowledge. So someone who has a knowledge must decide. Only there are two real entities who have knowledge. One is Jivatma and the other is Paramatma. Either I will have to decide my actions or leave it to God. He will have to decide on my actions. I can decide. I can take the responsibility of deciding. If I do, then I can't blame Paramatma. It is me who have to take the responsibility. But again, the question would be, am I under the control of Paramatma or not? One way, on the one hand, Vedanta claims that everything is under his control. On the other hand, close. On the one hand, Vedanta claims that Bhagavan controls this entire universe and every Atman. If it's so, then he must be held responsible for all my actions. Then all my errors, all my faults, all my papas, to everything he must be held responsible. Which is not the case. We must be held responsible for the same. So now let us decide. The point of debate is, am I the doer or is Bhagavan the doer? Is God the doer? If I say I am the doer, God cannot be held responsible. He goes scot-free. He can't be blamed. But if I say that God is the doer, then he has trouble. Because to all my faults, he would be held responsible. Both ways there is one plus and another minus. The advantage here is, if I say I am responsible, then God is not at fault. But if I say I am responsible, then he is not my controller. I'll move on to the next sloka, where we will try and get a solution to this fix now. Krishna says, Arjuna, do your duty. Niyatam kuru karmatvam karma jyayo hyakarmanaha. This is one sloka. Let's take another sloka. Karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phala hetu bhuhu ma te sangaha astu akarmani. I will tell you the meaning of these two slokas. You will immediately get the debate point. The first sloka says, Niyatam kuru karmatvam. Do your duty. Don't miss. Karmajyayo hyakarmanaha. In fact, when compared with Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga is much superior. That suits you better. So, Niyatam kuru karma. Do your duty. Another sloka is, do your duty, but don't request for any mean fruits. Karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. Not to any phala. Ma karma phala hetur bhuhu. You do not be the cause of your actions. You do not be the cause for your fruits. Ma te sangaha astu akarmani. If I say, write your exams well, study well, prepare well, rehearse well, write well, but also think that you did not write this exam. If I say so, I'll be a fool to say so. Will you not claim that if I am not the one who scored good marks, if I didn't write this exam, if I didn't prepare for this exam, then let me abstain from this exam? You say that you must think that I am not the writer. I should not set my eyes on any marks or anything else. I am not the one who prepared. I am not the one who benefit. In which case, let me not take the exam. Will we not claim that? Krishna says, you have to write your exam, you have to study, but don't worry about the marks. Don't even think that you wrote the exam. What does he mean by this? Instead, why not we abstain from writing the exam? But Krishna concludes, inaction is not a solution, Arjuna. You will have to act. Ma karma phala hetur bhuhu ma te sangaha astu akarmani. Akarma is non-performance, inaction. Ma te sangaha astu. Let you not be related to inaction. You will have to act. But don't claim that action for you. You don't act. You are being pushed by someone else. This is one sloka. So by these two slokas, we get to know that Jivatma is not the actor. The Jivatma is not the doer. I repeat the slokas. Karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phala hetur bhuhu ma te sangaha astu akarmani. You will have to do, but you are not the doer. How does Krishna claim this? If you are the doer, you can do. If you have done, you have to be the doer. How can I disengage both? Krishna says you will do, but you will think that you are not the doer. The reason is, there is one sutra, axiom, from Vedavyasa's Brahma Sutra. It says, Karta Shastrarthavatvat. Jiva is the doer. It confirms. The reason is, Shastrarthavatvat. But for this acceptance that Jiva is the doer, all the preachings of Shastra would go futile. Shastra tell me, they want me to correct myself. They guide me. Do this, abstain from this, you are wrong, change your course. This is right with whom? If I am studying in this college, if I am in a MS course, you can come and guide me. This is what you should study, this is how you should prepare. Now, You contact your seniors, they will tell you how to prepare, it's fine. But I am a discourser, I have come here to talk on philosophy. If you start telling me, assuming that I am a MS student, and you talk to me that how to prepare, who are my seniors and whom should I contact, it's futile. It has no bearing on me. Similarly, if I am the doer, Shastras can direct me to do or abstain. When the fact is that I am not the doer, then why should Shastras guide me? They will all become futile. It's a wasted exercise. So, Shastras cannot be futile. They cannot go a waste. So, as Shastras are right, I think I am the doer. If not, they won't talk. They won't preach. Can whole Shastra be a wasted exercise? It would not be. So, assume that I am the doer. If I am. If I am not, then the Shastras should guide Bhagavan. It should preach to Sriman Narayana and tell him that create this universe properly. Don't be foolish. Create good people. Don't create wicked people. But Shastras never tell him. They only tell me to guide my life properly. So it is not he, the recipient or beneficiary of the Shastra, but it is me who is the recipient of Shastra's Upadeshas. In which case, I must be the doer. Karta Shastrarthavatvat. As Shastra must be effective, they must be useful. Jivatma must be the doer. Let us fix that statement first. Then let us move to the next. If I accept this, then that leads to a different trouble. The trouble is, then am I under the control of Brahman or am I independent? I accept that I am the doer. For all my misdeeds and good deeds, I hold responsibility. I take credit or debit. But will I come under the control of Paramatma? Can he control me? He does control. The same Vedavyasa in Brahma Sutra clarifies this doubt. He says, Paratu tat shrutehe. Paratu tat shrutehe. As the Vedanta says that this Jiva is under the influence and control of Brahman. It is Brahman who acts. Now entirely contradicting statement. The first axiom said that Karta Jivatma eva Karta. Now it refutes. It contradicts. Of course, the contradiction is apparent. It contradicts that no, Jivatma cannot be the Karta. Karta Paratu Tachrutehe. Jivatma acts under the control of Brahman. So we act controlled by Brahman. We act. Kindly note both the points here. We act. So we are the doer. We act as controlled by Brahman. So he is the doer. Is he or me? If I am a lunatic, then I can't be punished, as I am not under my control. Similarly, can I claim that I am totally under the control of Paramatma, so don't blame us for our actions. Even if I kill someone, don't punish me. It is Bhagavan who controlled me. I was under his influence. You cannot say so, because Bhagavan creates this entire universe. We are going to talk about two aspects. One is a common cause and the other a specific cause. If you clearly understand the difference between common cause and specific cause, called in Sanskrit as Samanya Karana and Vishesha Karana. One is a Samanya Karana, common cause. Other is a Vishesha Karana, specific cause. Land is a Samanya Karana. A tiller, a farmer is a Samanya Karana. Watering the land is a Samanya Karana. That's again a common cause. A tiller, the land, all the manure or pesticides, whatever you use, the water that you use, all these are common causes. That is, they are general to everything. But if I have 5 acres of land, I cultivate sugar cane in 2 acres, paddy in another 2 acres, wheat in another acre. I sow the seeds. I get good reap. I get a good harvest. But some trees may wither. You may not get that much yield. If you have a lot of coconut trees, 2 or 3 may go waste. They may not yield so many coconuts. Why does this happen? When the common cause, as the name suggests, when the cause is common, then the yield must also be the same. It is not the same. When the cause is common, yield differs. So there must be something in between the common cause and the yield. There is something between the common cause and the yield. That is known as the specific cause. The specific cause is the specific seed. The yield of that particular tree is dependent on the seed of that particular tree. So that seed becomes the specific cause. Land, manure, farmer, water, all are common causes. Seed is the specific cause. Although the common cause is same, although the farmer has put in equal efforts, if the seed is bad, it's not good, then the yield is not good. Similarly, Bhagavan is a samanya karana. God is a common cause. My karma and my free will is a specific cause. God creates. He gives equal benefits to all. He creates this infrastructure. Once He creates, that's divine design, if we can call so. That is divine design. And me, I am given a knowledge. I have the power to think. Animals can think, but very little. All these flowers cannot think. I can think. So I have a free will, an independent will known as Jiva Swatantriyam. It is Jivatma Swatantriyam, Jivatma's free will. Can I go against God's design? Or have I to act as per God's design? God designs. That divine design is a common cause. I'll give you an example. If I extend my palm, I place a worm in this. The worm can move. The worm is given a task. It has to move from this corner of my palm to the tip of my middle finger. It can. Worm moves. I am able to watch. I don't move my hand. If I move my hand, then it may act against the action of that worm. If that worm wants to move, it moves. I move my hand, probably it will be a hurdle. The worm cannot move. So I don't move anything. Having given my palm to the worm, I wait and watch. Let the worm move on itself. Let me see whether it reaches its destination. Is the worm dependent on this palm or not? It is, as it is held by the palm. It cannot go out of this palm. Is the worm independent of this palm or not? This worm is independent as far as the movement is concerned. This worm is dependent as far as the sustenance is concerned. If I close my palm, it's dead. So if the worm should sustain, it is totally dependent on my palm. But for the movement, it is not dependent. It can decide on its own. It can decide not to move and stay in a corner. It can decide to move and reach the other corner. But it is totally dependent in one sense. It is independent in another sense. It is dependent in a larger perspective. It is independent in a shorter perspective. In a larger perspective, this entire universe is dependent on God as He has the palm. He has created us. He has given us this entire infrastructure. This universe God created. I got this body. I am blessed with knowledge. I am blessed with so many preachings. I am blessed with the Shastra. All these were created by God. He is the common cause for this universe. But that does not mean He acts on His own. He now has extended this palm. I am the worm in this palm. I need to move. Why am I created? Why did I take this birth? I took this birth to realize that He is my commander. He is my master. And I have been taking births due to my past deeds. Let me stop them now and reach my master. Enjoy eternal bliss. If I realize that, then He shows me ways to realize. He shows me ways to get redeemed of all my past actions and reach salvation. To that, I have to use my free will. Take the instance of a big company. There is a founder who bought the land, who invested, who created the infrastructure, and now he has kick-started the business. Then there are many people around. There is a director for finance, director for technical, director for human resources, director for purchase, director for sales. They will have to play their part. Of course, all the directors are dependent on the managing director, on the founder. But they can't for everything look upon the managing director. You will have to show your intelligence, act well, act smart, and bring profit to the company. In the course, in the course of bringing profit to the company, you too benefit. You are paid a fat salary, you are paid commissions, you too benefit. So see how they work together. One, the founder creates the infrastructure. Other, all the subordinates, although dependent on the founder, have a limited independence to work on their own. So there is nothing that contradicts now. It is true that Bhagavan controls as the founder, as the one who is holding this palm. It is also true that I, as the Jivatma, is independent. I have a free will, as I am like a worm moving. I am like a director of one department acting. So both ways we don't contradict. He is the one who creates, like this government. This country's government created infrastructure. You are welcome to do business. If you do a profit, the government wants a share. If you make a loss, they will not share. Loss is to you, profit is a share to them. And at the end of the year, the president of this country will read a report. He will say, we have achieved a gross domestic product of 9%. We have grown by 18%. We have grown by 4%. All around, we'll start thinking, we did business. We made losses. Why is he claiming? Why should he claim for my losses? Because he is the one who gave the infrastructure. When the government gives the infrastructure, we are all dependent on the government. But for that we can't act. But although our actions are dependent on them, our actions are independent to the specific extent, not to the common extent. So Bhagavan is the common cause. We are the specific causes. We have our independent free will with which we will have to decide. So don't think that my horoscope decides me. Not at all. It is me who will have to decide. When I say it is me, don't think that I am absolutely independent. Not. I am again dependent on them, partially dependent on Paramatma, partially it is my free will. Krishna says, 5 people should coordinate to get going anything. They are Adhishtanam, Tatha Karta, Karanancha Pritagvidam, Vividhascha Pitak Cheshtaha, Daivan Chaivatra Panchamam. 18th chapter, 14th shloka. He lists 5 people. Adhishtanam, the seat, this body. Tatha Karta, the doer, Jivatma. Karanam, all our sensual organs, but for them we can't do. Karanam cha pritagvidam. Vividha cha pritak cheshtaha, our vital air, pranavayu, apanavayu, vyanavayu, udanavayu, but for our vital air we can't act. So vividha cha pritak cheshtaha. Finally, Daivan Chaivatra Pancham. 5th one is God. Jivatma, the seat, body, the tools, sensual organs, and the one that sustains, Pranavayu, lastly the giver, Paramatma. All 5 should coordinate so well to complete any task. To succeed, all 5 may coordinate. Why should coordinate? If I have to reach here, all 5 must coordinate. If I have to complete this lecture, all 5. So don't claim that you are the only one. All 5 together make it happen. If Daivam decides again, we can't complete. If my vital air stops, I can't. If my eyes, they refuse to see, I cannot. So together they do a job. Oh Arjuna, then why do you claim yourself? It is not you alone. It is together all the 5 that succeeds. When we know this, we also know that I am not the only doer. Now is it clear? I am the doer, but I am a doer 1 on 5. Not all 5. I am not the absolute doer. I am one of the 5 doers. So I can, in a way, claim that I am the doer, and in other way, cannot claim that I am the doer. But for the help of all 4, I cannot do. So I am dependent. I am also independent. I am dependent in the sense, I am dependent on the common cause. I am independent in the sense, I can decide my destiny, as I have a free will too. Have we ever used our free will? Is there any instance? Do we use our free will? Or whether you sniff or cough, can we blame God for the same? I sniffed today. Bhagavat Sankalpam. Romba easy churudu. Whatever you do or you abstain, it's all due to Bhagavat Sankalpam. I wanted to attend today's lecture at 2 p.m. on who decides my destiny. Unfortunately, my destiny did not allow me to attend. If I say so, then I am at fault. It is not my destiny that stopped me from coming. It is me who decided not to come. If I sing well today, suppose I am a musician, my kacheri, my music performance was quite good today. Then the organizers, they sung in praise of me. They say how beautiful he sung today. When they say so, then I plead ignorance. Nothing. It's all due to Bhagavad Sankalpa. It is all by His grace I was able to perform today. It's not me. Next day, the performance was not as good as yesterday. Now today, I must say, don't blame me. Probably Bhagavan did not perform well today. It is God who did not give a good performance. If I say that this performance is done by God, then the credit is to Him. Then the next day I may not perform well. Then the debit is to Him. Better don't do both. Then if you claim for myself, if I perform well, it is me. If I perform bad, it is me. Then you deny dependence on Him. Again that is wrong. Then how can I rephrase it now? I can do it this way. Bhagavan gave me this body and knowledge to sing. I used it properly today and the performance was good. I used it wrongly today and the performance was bad. If you say so, then everything is clear. I used it, so I used my free will. He gave me this, so I am dependent on Him. Both ways there is no fallacy at all. There is no contradiction. So He gave me this, I put it to right use or I put it to wrong use. If someone gives you a knife to cut fruits and eat, and with the knife I stab someone, I can't blame the one who gave me the knife. He gave me in the right intention, but I used it wrongly. If He gives me a boat for me to cross a river, I do not know to row. If I am lost, then don't blame the giver. If I am given a light, a stick of a fire to read, but I used it to fire to burn houses, to burn huts, don't blame the giver. So the giver gives in the right intention. Me, I use my free will wrongly. So please note that one can use their free will. I'll give you an example. I was about to eat, take my lunch now. I was seated. I had a friend by my side. Both of us started. Suddenly he held my hand and told me, I think this food is poisoned. Don't touch today. I immediately stopped it. Why didn't you tell me earlier? If this food is of poison, let me not consume. I left at it. Next day, me and the same friend, we were going past a temple. He suggested, why don't we go inside and have darshan? Let us go inside the temple and have darshan of Bhagavan. I told him, I am very busy today. Let me do it tomorrow. What is there? Next day also we will pass by the same route. So let us have it tomorrow. My friend questioned me, yesterday when it was a case of poisoned food, you never said that let me have it today and not have it tomorrow. You didn't say so. You immediately stopped. You abstained. But when it comes to temple, you say let me do it tomorrow, not today. So we are using our free will. When we thought that this is poisoned food which would kill me, immediately I used my free will to abstain, not to consume. Anything that is known, anything that can be seen physically, we take decisions immediately. We recognize them. But something which you are not able to see physically, that is unknown, that's known as adrishta. Known is known as drishta. Unknown is known as adrishta. If something is adrishta, then we are not bothered. If you don't go to the temple and offer our prayers to Lord, nothing physical would happen immediately. It has no effect on your physique, but it has an effect on the Atma. It would influence the Atma's karma. Bhagavan would think, I gave him everything. He does not even find time to come inside and offer prayers to me. Why? That is when we earn our papam. So, there are many things that are drishtam. If I don't eat, I feel very hungry and tired. If I don't rest, I feel tired. These are all drishta. But if I don't go to a temple, if I don't offer prayers to God, if I don't salute my parents daily, if I don't love my mother, then all these are adrishta. They can't be touched or felt. They don't yield results immediately. They are all adrishta, unknown. So please classify drishta and adrishta. Many things that are drishtam, we act immediately. On whatever is drishtam, we never fail to use our free will. In anything that is adrishtam, we abstain from using our free will. Hope you understand and differentiate. If it is drishtam, I feel tired, I go to sleep. That much is sure. I feel tired without Brahmam, so I had to perform puja now, I went. Have you heard anybody telling this? I feel let alone without Brahmam. I can't live without doing puja today. Let me do. They don't do, because it's all adrishtam. Anything on adrishtam, we don't use our free will. On drishtam, we use them. So I just wanted to impress upon you that we all use our free will. Don't think that we are not using. We are using in the case of adrishtam. Now the request is, use them in the case of adrishtam also. In the case of drishtam we use, but for adrishtam we are not using. We must start using our free will in the case of adrishtam too. One more interpretation is drishta and adrishta. When you have a drishta karana, a perceivable, a known reason, don't go in search of an unknown reason. For example, I was climbing down the stairs. I faltered in my steps. I fell down, sprained my ankle. Can I blame my karma or kala or horoscope of Bhagavan? Whom can I blame now? I fell down. I sprained my ankle. There is a clear drishta karana. Drishta karana, I lost sight of the staircase. That's a drishta karana. When there is a known reason, don't imagine an unknown reason. This is what Shastra tells us. In fact, whichever is not under our control, or whichever conveniently we would not keep it under our control, we pass the buck to Bhagavan. If you are not convenient in keeping it under our control, I'll give you an example. I came here at 1:55. The slotted time was 2. I was here at 1:55. If you ask me, how are you on time? You are so punctual. My immediate quick reply would be, that's my nature. I am punctual always. Whenever you call me, I am 10 minutes before. But if I am delayed here, my next lecture is at 4:30. Suppose I go there at 4:45 and someone asks me, Swamy, why are you not punctual? You should have come at 4:30. Why are you at 4:45? I would say, this city, Atlanta, is too huge. And the one who drove me lost his exit. Once he lost, it was another 10 miles by the time he took the next exit. He did not drive me properly. And many people were questioning in Georgia Tech. I had to answer to their questions and come. So I will list at least 3 reasons. Similarly, when you ask me that you were here at 1:55, why were you punctual? How were you punctual? What should I do? If I am a honest person, I should list another 3 reasons. Atlanta is too small, so I reached very early. And the one who drove me was perfect in his directions, so he reached me. Nobody in the previous session questioned me, so I found a lot of time. I came on time. Idalla, I never find reasons. I quickly say that it's my nature. When it was my fault, I start searching for all the reasons. So this is our character. This is how we behave. This should not be the case. Be honest. Either you take the credit and debit, or pass it to Bhagavan. One way, if it is a credit you taking, and if it is a debit passing on to Bhagavan, is not right. Whenever there is a drishta karana, don't search for adrishta karana. Anything, many things in world is drishtam. They are not adrishtam. For example, me meeting with an accident, or me failing in an exam, or not able to make it to this lecture. All these have drishta karana. All these reasons are known to us, not unknown. But me, if I become a bhakta, or I reach Vaikuntham, I reach salvation, or I am able to feel something that is so divine, then I don't have a drishta karana. I don't have a known reason for which I attribute to Bhagavan's compassion. I go to his compassion when I don't have a drishta karana. When I have a drishta karana, let me not go to any adrishta karana. So Bhagavan's compassion blesses me with moksha. My actions are the drishta karana for all my results. For my punishment or my reward, it is me who is responsible, not him. But when I make this statement, be very careful. I am not denying his controlling nature. Of course, he is a common cause and he is the controller. Please don't come to the conclusion, don't misunderstand that I am denying his controllership. Not. As this palm and as this worm, he is the absolute controller. But I act within my periphery. Within my circumference, I can act independently. So this jiva has a swatantriya, has a free will, which he needs to exercise to take right decisions. Son, to take right decisions, I need knowledge. I should be wise. Yes, they are given by Bhagavan. He blesses the body. He blesses the knowledge. Once he gives knowledge, you have to transform to be a wise person. He will give you knowledge. You have to change it to be wisdom. Knowledge is different from wisdom. He gives you knowledge, but you must become wise. Becoming wise is through my efforts. Giving knowledge is infrastructure. Using the wisdom, pleading to Bhagavan is my effort. Granting moksham is his compassion. So this is how the equation is. I hope it is simpler than a chemical equation. Not more, not complex than that equation. So Bhagavan gives me, he is the giver, he is the grantor. I put it to right use. I use my knowledge. I use my free will. Not that I am totally independent. I am dependent. Within that circle, I can act on my own. When there is a drishta karana, don't go in search of an adrishta karana. Suppose a plane mates with a crash. A plane crashes. 130 people die. If my karma, if my actions are directly to be related to the results, then all the 130 passengers must have had the same set of karmas so that they die at the very same moment. They all died in 1 minute. Then, should their karma not be similar so that they die in the same moment? It cannot be. Can we go in search of 130 people who have the same karma, put them, give them boarding pass to board the same flight, and ensure that the pilot mistakes and he commits a mistake and all are dead? It's not possible. So let us not get into that. There is a human error. The plane has met with an accident owing to a human error or a turbulent weather or a technical mechanical failure. All these three are drishta karana. When it is so, don't blame Bhagavanapatya. See how merciless he is. He is the one who made this plane crash. It is not so. We have a clear drishta karana, so don't go for adrishta karana. I have now clarified 2-3 pairs. One was free will versus divine design. It is not versus at all. They both supplement each other. When I say versus, you think there is a quarrel between free will and divine design. Not. Bhagavan's design is it is broader. My free will is not that broad, but I act within that scope. He gives us a mandate. We act within that scope, and within the given scope, you are free. So that was how to iron out the difference between divine design and my free will. Then between drishta karana and adrishta karana. When we have a known reason, don't go. Don't search for unknown reasons. Let us attribute everything to known reasons. If not, then we can't answer many questions. The same question. Can 130 people get together with the same karma? It won't be possible. So that was also answered. Then the other was between common cause and specific cause. Bhagavan is the common cause. We, our actions, our karma, they are the specific cause for all our deeds. So don't confuse between common cause and specific cause. I gave you the example of land, tiller, water, manure. They are all common. But the seed is specific. So we are also driven by a specific cause, which are our past karma, our past deeds. Now let us conclude this. The way it is, Bhagavan granted me with this great opportunity to live. He gave me birth. And this opportunity is, I should realize now that Bhagavan is my master. He gave me this birth according to my karma. Now my job is to redeem these karmas and reach his lotus feet. For which, let me take a decision now. But I am sure I am not efficient enough. I am not strong enough to redeem all my karmas. So I plead to him. He blesses me, which is adrishta karana. He blesses me. Once he blesses, all my drishta papa, all my papas are redeemed. I reach him. So within this sphere of affairs, we need to conduct. It's very simple. It is not complicated. So one, we have to act according to his wish. Suppose Bhagavan extends this palm. I told him that it is quite straight. It is not inclined. But it is slightly inclined towards him. Whenever he creates this universe, he slightly inclines this towards him, so that when you build this building, here you mop. Whereas in India, don't you clean the floor? you splash water and clean the floor. Water has to go to the gutter. So they give an inclination to the floor. If you pour water here, it reaches that corner. If you pour there, it reaches this corner. So they give an inclination. Similarly, Bhagavan gives an inclination towards him, so that all living creatures, all human beings can slowly slide and reach him. If I understand this inclination, the angle, and act together, if I go in line with this angle, it is easier for me to reach. If I go against this angle, then it is too difficult for me. If your car is parked in an inclination, then getting down, opening the door, everything is difficult. If your car is parked straight, then it is not difficult. You must know, if there is a wave, I can't fight against the wave. I must know to duck. If there is a bouncer, I must know to duck. If I don't unswitch my blade, I had it, I'll get caught. So, if Bhagavan's wish and will, if it's his desire so that I reach him, he inclines this universe. I need to know that inclination and go slide by that inclination. If I act according to his wish, then I slide to him. If I act against his wish, then I am acting against the inclination. Anything against the inclination is difficult. Anything towards that inclination, it is easier for us to achieve. So is devotion. Why Bhagavad Gita talks about devotion? When it is so logical about proving things, at the end, after the right from the 7th chapter, Krishna talks about devotion, unconditional bhakti and sharanagati towards him. Why? When I am the doer, when I have a free will, why should I go and surrender? Take a decision to surrender using your free will. The matter is, you can use your free will and decide to surrender. Why? I have understood that I can't redeem all my sins. They are too huge, they are difficult, they are unsurmountable. So I go and plead to Bhagavan. I offer myself to you. Now I surrender to you. You are more efficient, you are more powerful. Compared with your power, this unsurmountable papa are nothing. So better you remove the hurdles, he takes up the responsibility. Nothing wrong in we surrender to him. With our limited free will, we decide to surrender and offer to him. If there are 3 people here, one is good at accounting. You all tell them, can someone count the number of people in this? If someone is bad in accounting, bad in numbers, you would say, Swamy, you are better. Why don't you count? Not that he has yielded. He is not good at that. He requests someone else who is good at that. Nothing wrong. Similarly, I am not good in redeeming my sins. They are too huge. I go and plead to someone who does it for me. Nothing wrong. It is just seeking help. So we go seek help of Bhagavan, which is in other words Saranagati. Once we realize that I cannot redeem my sins, I go and surrender myself to him. This surrender is also a decision taken using our free will. Please note that. And that free will, that decision is granted by Bhagavan. Again, this free will was given by whom? By him. In that sense, we are dependent on him. But once given, he remains unconcerned. He is indifferent. As I told you, if you hold your palm out and the worm starts moving, you should not move. Whether this worm moves in the right direction or not, it should start from here, reach there. But unfortunately, it lost sight. It moves like this. I should not be concerned at all. Let it move. Let it learn on its own. Let it change course. Then come. You find toys which go, hit the wall, return. Similarly, we are all given hundreds and hundreds of births. Bhagavan is indifferently watching to us. If you take a wrong step, he won't interfere. Take a right step, he won't interfere. But when you reach the tip, he will say, I have achieved. Why? The worm should have achieved. How did Bhagavan suddenly claim that he had achieved it? Because he kept this palm extended for you to move. It is he who gave you. Like, as I told you, this government claims gross domestic product. Not you. You can't say that. I control the government, I did my business well. Not. He claims credit. Similarly, Bhagavan is the one who controls this entire universe. So he is right in claiming this credit. Prapta, Prapakaha, Prapti, Kuhappan. All 3 are Bhagavan. Prapta, he is the one who reaches the goal. Prapti, Kuhappan, he is the one who enjoys the goal. And he is the one who reached me to goal. He is the goal by himself. He is the one who reached me. He is the one who enjoys the goal. When he is everything, then who am I? Krishna says, Nimittamatram bhava savyasachin tasmatu yuddhasya yasolabhasya Nimittamatram, you are a tool in my hand as the worm in the hands of an extender. But this person was so indifferent, he did not influence or direct the movement of this worm. That is the very important behavior of God which we must note. He is a Udasina. Udasina, one who is indifferent, who never interferes in our actions. We may say, Bhagavan, when you are so efficient, why don't you interfere and stop us when we are wrong? If I keep saying, yes, he has taken the wrong exit, let me go around and come. Let him go. Let him lose track of 10 miles. Let him come back. Will anyone say so? Sir, please don't go. That's the wrong exit. Don't take. Bhagavan never does that. He waits. But he tells us in a different fashion. The fashion is, it says, all left lane to turn, this lane to turn left. There is a board there. This says, whoever is in this lane have to necessarily turn right. You can't go. All these are boards. Bhagavan's board, Bhagavan exhibits, displays in Vedanta. He says his board is Vedanta. He says that this is where you go, this is the way you don't go. And we lose sight of the board itself. We have forgotten Vedas and we keep blaming. Bhagavan did not prompt me. Will he prompt? It is not your tom-tom which says you have a guide in your car. It keeps telling you, if you are wrong, it says you are wrong, recalculating. Wait. So Bhagavan will not come and recalculate. It is not your tool. He is not your tool. You will have to do. And when I was driving, it was too much confusing. It was talking a lot. So I think the driver did not like it. He said, I know better. Let me stop this. So he stopped, he drove, lost the exit. We think that, what will these Vedas guide? They cannot. Let me take a decision on my own. I switch off the Veda, but I go wrong. So Vedas are that which prompts you. Bhagavan, don't think that he is too indifferent not to guide you. When you go wrong, either through the Shastra or through our Acharyas, he has given birth to so many Acharyas to correct you. They tell you you are wrong. Don't move in that direction. We don't listen to them. Shastra tell us, we don't listen to them. And our forefathers, my father, my parents told me, I do not listen. Why all this? When I committed the same mistake last year, I repeat it today. Even after knowing it for myself, I don't correct. You can commit mistakes, at least not the same. If you do something last year, at least change your mistake. அதே பாவத்தை திருப்பி திருப்பி பண்ணலாமா? போன வருஷம் ஒரு பாவம் பண்ணோம்னா இந்த வருஷம் வேற பாவமானு பண்ணணும். ஏன்னா அதையே பண்ணிண்டா Bhagavan will get annoyed. Here is someone, I have told him that this is a papam, I have punished him. After being punished, if you don't realize, then the fault is us. We are almost foolish. So here the point is, we have independent free will. But I told it in a lighter moment. Don't think that you can find out new sins and commit. I just told you for the sake of it. Please forget those words. Please erase them. We should do only punya, not err at all. So we have learned the differences and why this apparent contradiction, and how can we erase the differences, how can we erase the difference of opinion between these two. These are some concepts through the Gita Shloka which I wanted to introduce to you. So these are quite clear, but still let it not be a one-way communication. I have just now introduced you the concept. This is the substance. Now I give you 15 minutes time. You can go ahead if you have any questions. Then we will conclude the session.
How does ego play in?
Pardon?
How does ego play into all this? Even if you have a little பூச்சி கூட ego
இருக்கு.
நாய்க்கு ego இருக்கு. அதோட லெவல் அது தெரியும். நம்மளுக்கு நம்ம ego இருக்கு, நம்ம லெவல் தெரியும். ஸோ அந்த ego தான் எல்லாம் டாமினேட். ஏன்னா இப்போ நீங்க எங்களுக்கு சொல்றீங்க கோவம் வச்சா அந்த ஈகோனால கோவம் வரும்.
Ego.
அது எப்படி பிரபாவம் பண்ணுது?
Ego is a product of, you know the term ahankara? Ahankara. That is what people call as ego. But we feel haughtiness is ahankara. It is not so. Ahankara is a misunderstanding. Aham refers to Atma. Ahankara, the definition in Sanskrit is, if you misunderstand Anaham, to be aham, it's ahankara. Anaham, that which is not me. Aham, that which is me. Me is Atman. Anaham, that which is not me is this body. I wrongly concluded that body and me are one and the same. So, when I thought Anaham to be aham, I am an ahankari. If you think that Atma is powerful, Atma is permanent, and I am Atma, I am not this body, then you will not feel egoistic at all. Ego is something related to your body. When does it get hurt? If I say, why are you so short? Why are you not tall? Then my ego is hurt. How can he tell me that I am short? I spring on him. I yell at him. But when you realize that I am short, this Atma is ever short. It is so thin. It is so atomic in its size. This short or tall, it's all relative to the body, not to Atma. But I wrongly thought this body and Atma to be the same. So when you blamed me, when you abused me that I am short, I should in fact laugh at you. Oh person, don't you know the distinction between my body and Jivatma? I am Atma, this is body. Why are you calling me short? I am Atma. If you want, you call my body as short. If I reply, you won't stand before me. The moment I give you this reply, you will vanish. Because you will think, here is a philosopher who knows something, so let me not talk to him. When I misunderstand body and Atma to be the same, then I react to your abuses. If I know that my Atma is totally distinctive from my body, I am indifferent to your abuses. Because I know this Atma cannot be abused. This Atma cannot be cut. It cannot be drowned. It cannot be killed. It is beyond all this. And you also won't try to do. I'll give you an example. If I drop a camphor, if I drop an agni in land, if the land is barren without any grass, it won't catch fire. But if it has grass, it will catch fire. We, the land. If I have the thinking that I am an ahankari, that is, me and body are one and the same. So, I am desirous of many things. That is the grass in me. When someone abuses, that fire catches in me. But for that grass, I would not be responding to anyone's call. So, it is not simply ahankara. Ahankara, the right meaning is anaham construed as aham. So, every day, try and spend 10 or 15 minutes telling this to yourself, that I am not this body, I am not this body. If you abuse, can I join, oh my friend, in abusing this body? I can. Because I don't join you today because I think this and me are one and the same. If I know this is separate, then I can very well join hands with you and abuse my body. It's something else. அதைத்தான் திரும்ப திரும்ப நினைச்சுக்கணும். இந்த உடம்பு நான் இல்லை. இந்த உடம்பு நான் நினைச்சாதான் கோபம் வருது, தாபம் வருது, ஆசை வருது, எல்லாம் வருது. இந்த உடம்பு நான் இல்லை என்று நினைத்தா வராது. திரும்ப திரும்ப ஐயோ உடம்பு வேணும். அது எதுக்கு? சுவர் இருந்தா தானே சித்திரம் எழுத. See, I respect this wall. I respect a canvas. For me to write a painting on it. For me to paint. But is the painting more important or the canvas? If there is no painting, no one will respect the canvas. So the canvas is to be respected. Till I go on a staircase, I step it, I climb the staircase, I have reached my destination, then can I ever stay in a staircase? I cannot. So this is a tool given for me to reach him. This is not my destination. This is only a stepping stone. This is only a tool. Please respect your body as a tool, but not above that, not beyond that.
You claim that ego is just the body and not the mind, but a lot of times it's the mind that's the root cause for all the egoistic problems. And like all religions, they talk about getting rid of the egotism. That's the main problem why we suffer. Because we perceive that, it's all our perception based on an ego. That's what, in India we call Maya. Perception is through the mind. Everybody perceives different things as different, in different terms.
What do you think as mind? What is mind?
Again, these are all abstract. Even if you ask
No,
me,
that is the problem.
you cannot define. Like,
Mind is a matter. Mind is not abstract. Mind is matter. It is matter. It is dravyam. As per Vedanta, mind is a dravyam. As your eyes is dravyam, your ears are dravyam, mind is also a physical instrument.
Yeah, but like you cannot, I don't know how you can.
Probably you can't touch it. That's it. Let me give you now. Let me explain what mind is. You see with your eyes. You hear with your ears. You think with your mind. So as eyes and ears are tools to see or hear, mind is a tool to think. We, the Atma, me, the Atma, has to control mind and eyes. Mind cannot control me, as again, mind has no knowledge. It has no jnana. Atma is the only substance that has jnana. Atma can only control the mind and the eyes or ears. When I am dead, my eyes and ears cannot see or listen. But they are there. But they can't listen. So this Atma was only controlling them. Atma should decide using its free will to put them to right use. That's what I have been telling so long. If you tell your mind that you will think only about Bhagavan, it has to. It cannot go away. Don't think that mind can control Atma. It is not. It is Atma that has to control the mind. And those are the rishis who have controlled their mind. How do we become yogi? By meditation, we only control our mind.
Okay. I totally agree. Like the soul is the one that has to control the mind.
Yes.
If you are not aware of what's happening, then you cannot control anything. That's like in Buddhism also, I call it like awareness of vipassana or whatever they call it.
Right.
But that's the baseline. The other thing I wanted to ask you was like, what's the premise for the existence of God? You give analogies, but that doesn't mean that that's the proof for the existence of God. Like you say, like you have the palm and the worm is.
And in today's lecture, I didn't prove the existence of God. We have yet to talk about. If your question is that, no, we will talk about that. This is all not existence of God.
I believe in God because of circumstantial evidence. I have faith, and you are brought up with something and you believe in it. But like when you are contradicted about the existence of God, I don't have a strong answer. And like even when I researched, I didn't find any good answers.
Okay.
Either you believe or you don't believe, and you cannot define God. And like in India, in Christianity they say that God was created in the image of man. And like that's true. Even in India, we created gods in our own dress, our own clothing, and in different parts of the world, they created God in their own clothing. But it has to be a universal God. And
No, is it all a statement or a doubt?
No, I'm having a doubt. Like if somebody asks me, like, do you have an explanation?
Yes. Can you come out with that counter argument? Why do you say God does not exist?
Because we don't have a proof. Just because we cannot. All that we have is like analogies, and also like the other thing you can tell is like you cannot disprove the existence of God, so God exists.
Okay.
But there is nothing that proves the existence of God.
Do you accept that in science, many things that are not disproved are accepted? Do you agree with me?
They are like, you can call like...
Do you agree with me or not first? Many things in science that are till date not disproved are accepted. For example, right from Big Bang, this universe got created. Even today, scientists do not deny that before Big Bang, universe could have existed. They don't deny. But they don't know. But still they accept it. They don't deny. So even in science, if not denied, you will have to go by it. They also accept that after this creation, it will all get sucked into a black hole. And again a big cold would come. We say it as samhara. This Big Bang is said as Srishti. So they too accept cycles. Vedanta also accepts cycles, probably in a different language. So you must one thing accept that if it is not denied or disproved, it has to be accepted. Till it is disproved. Even there is one disprove, even there is one thing to disprove it, it is accepted. But there is nothing that disproves. This is one way to answer. Let me give an affirmative answer now. I only told you that since science also accepts that which is not disproved till date, we can prove God. Let us go the other way. There are three pramanams, source of valid knowledge. One is pratyaksha. perception. I can see, touch, feel. Other is inference. Third is shabdam. To give you an example, I can see this garland and accept it. This is perception. Pratyaksha jnana. I see smoke on a mountain. I am not able to see fire. But I infer, as this mountain has smoke, there has to be fire inside. This is inference, which we call as anumana. Without these two, there is a much more powerful shastra, Veda, which we call as Shabda. The example is, when a child is born, the mother tells the child, this is your tata, this is your party, this is your appa, this is your amma. This is neither pratyaksha nor inference. It is only the words of that mother. This child is in a situation that it has to believe its mother. It has no other go. It's in such a control of its mother. So the child cannot see and realize father if it can. If pratyaksham is the pramanam there, then the child should also recognize a table, chair and toy. It does not. It recognizes only its father based on the words of its mother. So it is not pratyaksha pramana. The child cannot infer, as I have come into existence, there have to be a male and female. I only see a female here, so a male has to be there. This is not the child inference. It doesn't do. It has no knowledge to do all those things. But the child, when seeing at the father, appa, how does it say? It is only through the shabda of its mother. So we have a great Veda scripture which are the shabda. You cannot deny that there are three pramanas. First of all, let us accept that. There are three valid sources of knowledge. Pratyaksha, Anumana and Shabda. The proof for it is child knowing its father. So words have to be accepted. Words, the divine sacred words are collected as Veda and Shastra. So they tell me, they prove the existence of God. When I know that all the three are equally important sources of knowledge, then I give equal importance to Shastra as Pratyaksha and Anumana. Anything that is Drishta can be proved by Pratyaksha and Anumana. Anything that is Adrishta can only be proved by Shastra. If something is Adrishta, you can't deny the existence. There are so many things that is Adrishtam to me, I don't deny. And take the case of your Higgs boson. It was the eighth particle. That particle was not found till date, but nobody denied it. They told the eighth particle is there. See, one more thing, there is no connection between God and that particle. And neither the scientists claim that, nor we claim that. Neither the Vedanti nor the scientists would claim. It was just named because they didn't know about it. But now they have found that there is a particle and this is how we prove that particle. But till this got proved, they did not deny that. Probably we will prove God tomorrow. Till such time you can't deny that. Even scientists did not deny. And there are many people who have already proved it. If we did not prove, let us go in pursuit of it. Let us not go with a closed mind, with a preconceived notion that it does not exist. Let us with an open mind go through the scripture, but please believe that there are three sources of valid knowledge. Shabda, Pratyaksha and Anumana. I give them equal respect. And they tell me that God exists. And you can infer if you want to. If this is to be created, there has to be a creator. If this universe is created, there has to be a creator. I can infer, but I would not like to infer. If you infer, I again land in trouble. To create this, one might need so much knowledge. To create this, to build this hall, so much knowledge. If I extrapolate in a graph and infer that Brahma would have created this entire universe, then if this is a knowledge, I will multiply by 100 times and fix that Brahman is 100x knowledge of this person, which is not so. He is omniscient and omnipotent. So I don't fix like that. I go by the Shastra to prove his existence, as Shastra is a valid source of knowledge.
So you've got God who is omnipotent, omniscient, all-encompassing and everywhere. But you also constrain him and say Mahavishnu appearing in front of, say, in the Kaliyugathla, நடக்கிறது சான்ஸ் இருக்கா
அப்படின்னா அவர் வருவாரான்னு கேக்குறீங்களா? இல்ல, அதாவது first he also came with a doubt that man created God with a form. Man did not create God. God made himself accessible to man with a form. Let's correct the statement. We cannot create God. For me to easily access him, he diluted. He made himself available to me in a form. He can, if he wants to, be formless. He comes to me with a form. Even in Kali Yuga, at the end of Kali Yuga, it seems he will incarnate as Kalki. So till such time, I don't think he's going to come before us with a form. He had come as Krishna at the end of Dwapara Yuga. The scripture says that he will come again in the end of Kali Yuga as Kalki.
What about other religions? They also have words. So, I mean, they also have their holy books and their words which say that God has come and God has sent his.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's all the same parallel. So, how do we?
There are,
what is the Vedanta
you will
religion?
find lot of parallels between religions.
Yes.
Once you complete the parallels, then you come for the distinction. Then you come for the differences. When it comes to differences, you need to list that this is the concept, doctrines of Christianity. This is from Muslim, Islam. This is from Hinduism. There, if you sit and discuss, you will note that there are a lot of fallacies otherwise. You have to be compatible. It should be validated. If you have a set of statements, any situation must get validated. For example, you don't accept karma or rebirth in Christianity. Right?
Yeah.
If you don't, then there is a problem. I do whatever I want to. On death, I am free. Because karma is not going to take you to another birth. You can neither be rewarded nor be punished. You can die and get away with it. You can kill anyone.
So there they have the concept of heaven and hell. And
Hey, let it be. But here, how is he going to be punished? He's gone. He's not going to be born again. If you are not born, then what happens to your punishment or reward?
in this world. Okay.
அதுக்குத்தான் நம்ம மறுபெற போத்துக்கிறோம்.
There are like two elements to religion and God. Like, there is like a mystical element where you believe in karma or reincarnation or like, heaven, hell, those kind of things. That's beyond reason. Like when you quote Shastras, it adds eloquence to like the talk. But if you are a rational person, if you just want to reason out, then a lot of it doesn't reason out. Or like, if you are a scientist, you may not accept, but like most scientists are religious because, they understand their limitations. When you find that there is something limitless, or there's a super intelligence that created you, they believe in God, but they cannot prove God. So most of us are just in that level, like where we believe,
Fine.
but we have no proof, and there are a lot of mystical elements. But the religion just gives us a way of living, like the Tao, like Chinese or Oriental thing, and all religions they just do that. But it's hard to incorporate this mystical thing, and like Indian thing is usually criticized by the Westerners, saying that there are a lot of mystical things in Indian thing, and a lot of superstitions involved.
Now, many superstitions are, in fact, all man-made. Not that the Vedas told them about these superstitions, or for example, if I can tell you some nakshatra, if you are born in a Mula nakshatra, or if you are born in Ailyam, then you don't get married. It's too difficult. We believe too much in our horoscopes. All these are not by the Shastra. These are all man-made. So if we remove them, but for these superstitions, many things are logical. It can be proved. So, if Westerners find fault based on the superstitions, they can be told and removed. That's not a big issue. Please remove the superstitions and look at it, the core concept of Hinduism. That's more important. Because many if someone is a widow, I don't step out of my house if she comes. That's superstition. No Vedas say that. It is man-made. So we don't believe in them. If I don't believe that much in my horoscope. Yes, I have one. My father looked at it when I got married. I am also willing to. But not when I sniff or cough. I won't. Adinale, since these things are too much added to it, we get such a feeling. We can very much remove them. Remove and look at the right concepts.
You had mentioned about free will during the talk. So I just want to understand that free will is a characteristic of the soul. And if it is so, then what is the reason of having that characteristic or the soul getting that characteristic?
Free will is the jnana. Buddhi, intellect. It is swatantriyam. Jiva swatantriyam is free will. It is a characteristic of the soul. It is nothing but its dharma bhuta jnana, which is known as buddhi. So it can exercise that buddhi. It has that swatantriya.
Is there any background on why the soul was given that?
It was not given, it exists.
It, uh,
It was never given. This soul is sentient always. Not on a particular day. If not given, then it is the non-sentient achit. This, for example, has no jiva swatantriya. As this is not a jiva. There are jivas inside this. But this per se is achit tattva. This achit has no free will. But chit has. So it was not given on any day. The chit is permanent and its swatantriya is also permanent.
That means it was created.
One moment. He has been there for long, waiting.
My question is about when you said there's a common cause and specific cause. That's I guess was my question. You had earlier mentioned you used the metaphor of a seed, right? The seed is a specific cause, and the ground that is planted in being the common cause. But and maybe my understanding here is wrong.
Please.
But I'm under the understanding that you were, that all common cause is the same, but clearly it's not. Some scenarios are very favorable, like a fertile land is favorable, and a desert is not favorable, right? So there's different types of common cause. So
Yeah.
my question is, why is it different types of common cause? And in anticipation of your answer, which I think is going to do something.
No, nothing. Let me answer first. You need not anticipate. Let me answer. Okay. See, you said there is a difference between desert and a fertile land. Right? We have a difference between Kali Yuga, Dwapara Yuga and Treta Yuga. There are 4 yugas. These yugas per se have good qualities. If in Krita Yuga, then our environment for devotion is much better. In Kali Yuga, there are a lot of distractions where the atmosphere is not congenial for devotion. This is like a desert land and a fertile land. Of course they will remain, but that is common to all of us. Any seed that is sown in a desert is common. Any seed that is sown in a fertile land is common. And even in a fertile land, I am not talking about a seed going futile between a desert land and futile land and a fertile land. I am talking about 2 seeds. One may succeed in a fertile land, one may not in the same fertile land. Don't compare between a desert land and a fertile land. Even within that 1 acre of fertile land, one is successful, one is not. Why? That depends on the seed. So now you can come with the second question.
So my anticipation, what I was going to anticipate was, why is it that, there's a bunch of people, so let's say there's 2 hands, so one is fertile, one is the desert. Why is it that, some people end up in a fertile land, some people end up in a desert land? Because, and what I had anticipated you answering that was maybe it's the previous karmas that caused you to become
Of course.
desert, that gave you the hand that you have.
Previous karma are there. That is okay. But I am not going to answer that here. Here we are only comparing between 2 seeds of the same land.
Okay.
Still they go wrong. It with us. Why? So the seed is a specific cause. I only took that example to prove the difference between common and specific cause. Nothing more than that.
So the only way you should compare yourself is to compare yourself in that environment that you're given, and not compare yourself to an absolute. Like, for example,
You can. You say this is desert land, this is fertile land. Both are lands. Desert, fertile. Both are lands. So they are common. Again the environment may be different. My parental care, my upbringing may be different. The yuga, the time where I am may be different. I am in USA, I am in Sri Lanka, that may be different. All these would definitely matter. But again, for all those who live in America, that environment is the same. For all those who had parental care, the environment is the same. For all those who live in Sri Lanka, the environment is the same. Again, within that realm, we go wrong. So I'm only wanting to tell that, communicate that point.
So it's okay if the seed ends up becoming something different.
No problem. I'm only telling you, don't blame the farmer. What did I tell you? Why did we pick this debate? Don't blame the farmer for that. That was my only submission.
You mentioned Karma Yoga is more powerful than Jnana Yoga. Can you elaborate?
Yeah, I can. Good question. Krishna first advocated karma and jnana together. In the second chapter, he exhibited a ladder. The ladder is, first step in the ladder is Atma Jnana, to know about Atma. Second step, practice of Karma Yoga. Third step, cleansing your chitta, that your manas gets cleared of all the dirt. Only in a pure manas you can practice Jnana Yoga. That was the fourth step. Fifth step was Atma Sakshatkara. You can realize your Atma. Arjuna listened to it patiently. Since Krishna mentioned that an earlier step is Karma Yoga and the eventual step is Jnana Yoga, Arjuna thought, why not I straight away start Jnana Yoga? Why get into Karma Yoga? Because it was comfortable to him. Karma Yoga in that context was fighting, which Arjuna did not want to. He wanted to run away. So he submits to Krishna. Jayasi chet karmanaste mata buddhir janardana tat kim karme gore karmani mam niyojayasi keshava. First shloka of third chapter. The same question was asked by him. He asked Krishna, if Jnana Yoga is superior to Karma Yoga, oh Krishna, why do you advocate Karma Yoga then? Let me begin with Jnana Yoga. Krishna quickly changed his stance. He says that you are right, but not for you. It is right, Arjuna, but it is not right for you. And he substantiates that. He says, first, you are not eligible to be a Jnana Yogi. If you are a Jnana Yogi, one must have absolute control over senses. If he has completely controlled the Indriyas, you can practice Jnana Yoga. Arjuna, you have not. You still want to fight, you still want to run away, you want to beg, do whatever you want to, so you are not a Jnana Yogi. Secondly, if you enjoy a designation, a position that many others would follow you, if you are a Vidwan, if you are a Pandit, many would look upon you for guidance. If you do something, they would also follow. If you enjoy that position, Krishna says you have an added responsibility. The responsibility is, I must perform something which others can copy and follow. If I do something which my followers cannot practice, then I have two problems. One, they will be left in the earth in the way. They can't follow, so they will lose. They won't attain Atma Sakshatkara. Two, I will have to bear that. Whatever they lost, I will have to bear the fruit of that. So Arjuna, since you are a king, many would look upon you and follow you. If you do Jnana Yoga, they will also begin. But they are all not people who are eligible for Jnana Yoga. In the way, they will fail. So you will be a cause for their failure. Loka sangrahamevapi sampashyan kartumarkasi. The example is, if I am a great circus master, I stick my head into the lion's open mouth. I do it. Looking at me, if others follow and do it, what would happen? They will lose life. So, oh friend, don't stick your head into the mouth. But I ask him, Swamy, I can't do it. Why are you stopping me? Because others will follow you. They can't. So Arjuna, Karma Yoga is better to you in the context. Not absolutely. Karma Yoga is better to you in the context that you are a role model for many people. You don't practice Jnana Yoga. If you do, you will be misleading others. So he said so. So for him, Karma Yoga is better. In absolute terms, Jnana Yoga is better. No doubt. For him it is better. And of course for Krishna, he wanted him to do Karma Yoga.
But all four are required, right? Like it's not, you cannot say like, I have heard people say that Bhakti Yoga is the best, like, some people say Karma Yoga is the best, like it depends on this.
No, Bhakti Yoga, Karma, Jnana, Anga, Bhakti Yoga is the right one, all have said. I can correct you if you have misunderstood it. It is not separate. It's not standalone. Karma, Jnana Yoga are supplementary studies and they help to Bhakti Yoga. All three are your last, till your last breath. No one says one is superior to other. They help. Karma, Jnana Yoga together reach you to Bhakti Marga. Bhakti Marga reaches you to Vaikuntha. So all three are practiced till the last breath.
Like we have to know the right, have the right knowledge.
Yes.
That's the premise of all religions.
Yes.
If you don't have the right knowledge, as you said, it doesn't mature.
You are right. You are right, and that is what the Shastra says.
Yeah, all four are.
Yes. I only told you steps. I never told you one is important, other is not.
I have actually learned a lot from you, like on Jaya TV, where like you give that monolithic demo.
Yes.
Like that was like more of a secular thing and not
Secular.
Yeah, it was based
I am not secular.
based on religion, but like
If I have sounded secular to you, let me correct.
You told us about exercising free will and also about total surrender. What is the limit or when do we actually surrender? And added to that question is, if I understand that I need to totally surrender, I might become lazy. I mean, I would say, anyway, whatever I do is within a free will, and if my free will is to choose to surrender, I would as well surrender right away without trying. So what is it that keeps me, I mean, what is it that shows me I push the limit of free will and like that?
Why do we surrender to Bhagavan?
That is not the right reason, but then what actually?
No, your reason. I am not talking about anybody else. Why do we surrender to him?
Because I'm done.
You are absolutely right. I am just going, whatever you said in English in simple language, let me give the definition in Sanskrit. Ananya sadhye swabhishte mahavishwasa purvakam tadega upayata yancha prapatti sharanagati. Vedanta Deshika says, you understand Tamil?
Yes, sir.
என்னால ஒண்ணும் பண்ண முடியல கையால் ஆகாதும் அப்படின்னா ஒரு முதலாளி முன்னாடி போய்